Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green, manager of the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys. Today taking on Wigan Athletic, one-time Premier League club. Wigan now struggling down in the championship, but they still got a lot of people wearing their uniforms in the stands, so that's something. In a stunning turn of events, by the way, it's raining in England. We're going to try to persevere. We're tied on points with second place Stoke City, 2 points above Watford and a bunch of other teams. Nervous times at the top for the Wimbly Womblys for sure. We have not had as much scoring success on the new skill level as we would have liked. However, we're going to go ahead and start Akinfenwa and the Montserrati and Messi Lyle Taylor and see if we can put together some goals. So today I'm going to be talking about Jail Son. That's fantastic. Today I'm going to be talking about adult friendships and how to make friendships when you're a grown-up. A couple of people have asked for this, and I think it's an interesting topic because it's kind of easy and straightforward to make friends when you are a kid. In some ways it's hard. Like I struggled to make friends when I was a kid, but there's a built-in structure for it, right? In the sense of, as you can see, by the way, we're starting Akinfenwa, Lyle Taylor up front. We got Jago and other John Green in midfield, Frankenstein and Bartram out on the wings. So we're just going to hope for the best. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. I'll tell you what I believe in. I believe in Adebayo Akinfenwa. It is harder, I think, to make friends as an adult, though, because there are none of those sort of pre-existing ways, except for work. Like, work is the one place where you're sort of thrown together with people, and you've got a reasonably good chance of getting along with them. Like, I remember when I was in my early 20s, before I got married. I will say marriage solves this problem to an extent, not least because then you have kids, and that becomes, that was a very good steal. That becomes a structure for you to make friends, right? Because then you just make friends with your kids' friends. So you revert back to this childhood friendship strategy of the structure of school and everything, but as an adult. But I think until we got married, I really struggled to make friends. My best friend, Shannon, I knew from college. And then, she had some friends who became my friends who she knew from high school. But even then, you're still talking about this, like, one way or another relying. That's a great move from Akinfenwa. And then everyone else is like, I'm stronger than you are. And he's like, no, you're not. But they got dispossessed anyway. Whatever. It's still 0-0. A standard Wimbly Wombly draw in this situation wouldn't be the worst thing that ever happened to us, but we're going to try to squeeze out a goal from somewhere. Just can't quite figure out how to make the goals go in. That's nice. There you go. Not a great pass, but whatever. I remember, like, for instance, at one point Shannon and I needed a roommate, and we were like, how do we even, like, meet someone to be a roommate with? This was, I guess Craigslist was kind of a thing, but it was, I guess it's probably considered fairly sketchy now, but it was definitely considered fairly sketchy then as far as, like, entrusting yourself with a roommate. So I ended up writing a radio piece for the local NPR station that was like, I need a roommate. And then somebody wrote in, and I was like, yeah. And that was our roommate, Dan. Great guy. He's an architect. So that's one way I made friends. That's not very helpful, though, is it? No, it's not. How about a really long shot? Oh, Frankenstein was hungry there, but not hungry enough to get the ball, apparently. You got to say, the Wimbly Womblys, we're playing a little bit like the FIFA 15 Wimbly or FIFA 14 Wimbly Womblys, which is not probably great news. We need to be a little more aggressive, but also more thoughtful. Oh, boy. That's nice stuff. What are you doing? Where? What? Oh, man. That was so Shia LaBeouf. He's so unpredictable. So, I guess the first way that I made friends is through work and work stuff. So, like, even if I was friends with the people I worked with in the office that I worked in when I was in my 20s, but I was also friends with people who did kind of the same stuff that I did, or people who were doing stuff that I liked, like people who were making blogs in Chicago that I thought were really cool blogs. And then gosh, I don't really know how I made any other friends. I'm so bad at making friends in general. I feel like I'm a bad person. Meredith, how do you make friends? She doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Sometimes I mean, also the last, like, I don't know that I guess I've made some friends in the last few years. It's not easy. It feels like it always, and then there's also the awkward dance of like, well, we're not in a romantic relationship, so like I can't like use the sort of typical tools of dating to like meet up with this person, right? I can't be like, it's so awkward just to say like, do you want to go out in a few nights? Like that's a weird thing to say to someone you're not interested in dating. It's just a weird, our culture is so worshipful of romantic love and like holds romantic love up as the only sort of like, you know, the only time that it's worth it for you to put yourself out there, but also the only kind of love that can bring sort of this like deep lasting fulfillment. And that's just ridiculous. Like, but it ends up being that all the ways that we have of meeting people are based around romantic love, right? Like there's no Tinder for friends, or probably there is, but it's not nearly as popular as Tinder. And so I feel like we haven't done a very good job of building structures for adult friendships and non-romantic relationships in our culture. And, you know, until recently, like it was oh God, it was just, you know, who are the people in your village? Like you knew like 45 people until very, very recently in the scope of human history. Speaking of recently, Lyle Taylor hasn't scored a goal recently. Oh, man, we're getting our butts kicked. What I don't like is I don't like the general lack of aggression I see. I find it a little worrisome. This game might need a hot slice of Dicko. It's hard to say. Like, I know it needs something. I know that we're struggling. I know that, oh God. Oh, Shia LaBeouf. Wait, did that ball just go in the net? What the frick just happened? I looked away to celebrate Shia LaBeouf's amazing save, and now I'm down 1-0. John Green, did you score an own goal? Okay, John Green racing back. Save. And then... Oh, Shia LaBeouf, for the love of God. Oh, it's just awful. It's a disgrace. It's not an own goal, but only by the most narrow of margins is it not an own goal. There's no more embarrassing goal to give up than probably wouldn't have gone in except that it hit the goalie's hand. At least I have a throw-in. That might be my first offensive throw-in in the offensive third so far. That's not bad. Jago. Get on the end of that! Oh, crushing. Yeah, so I think we need to do a better job of building up those relationships because they're so important. Like, when I look at my life satisfaction rate or whatever, like if I were to try to measure my life satisfaction, I would have to say a huge part of it is my friendship with our best friends, Chris and Marina. Like, it's just a huge part of my like daily happiness. And the close friendships that I have are just, I mean, they're so important. They're like, I think that they're, you know, almost as important as the really fundamental relationships of marriage and family and stuff. Like, for me, it's been the number one like cool thing about living in Indianapolis is like finally having these really great friendships. Speaking of which, Lyle Taylor. Oh, Lyle Taylor. Oh, it's a frustrating situation. We don't ever score from corner kicks, Meredith. Get there! Ginger Harry was almost there. Okay, that's not a bad situation. Ooh, we're going to have another corner kick, Meredith. I mean, I like the fact that we're putting on a little bit of pressure here. I think that's at least kind of promising. But there's no question we've got big structural problems with our squad right now. The transfer deadline window has just ended, and we've got some capital P problems for the Wimbly Womblys here in the championship. We knew it was going to be difficult. We always knew that it was going to be hard going up to the second tier of English football. We're still an underfunded side. We've got a relatively small stadium, etc. But we're going to need to score. We're going to need to find some goals from somewhere. And right now, I've got to be honest, I don't know where those goals are going to come from. So tell you what it's not going to come from. It's not going to come from tackling from behind with an unnecessary slide tackle. That's not going to be a source of goals for us in the future. That's good. Oh, frickin' frick burger. Oh, man. I mean, the other thing that I'd say, though, is that making friends is so difficult, but, like, it's a way, it kind of, for me, at least, it has a way of becoming progressively more difficult because it's harder for me to do the things that I need to do to make friends the longer I feel like I don't have good, fulfilling friendships in my life. For instance, like going out and playing a sport or being a fan of a sport or something, it's a great way to make friends, except, like, I never really have the energy to do that when I'm feeling super lonely. Get there. Oh, Dicko, you're better than that. You're better than that, Dicko. That's not the Dicko that I hired for this job. That's a really late tackle from Dicko. He's taken some dangerous steps here. No doubt about it. We're going ultra attack. All out attack. Get to the ball. Oh! Pass it out of the back just like a Wimbly Wombly would. Okay, let's get the ball. Meadsy, it's okay. Don't get upset. Just get focused. All right? It's raining. We're away from home. We can find a one... I mean, this is one of those situations where 1-1 would feel like a win, you know? Get there, Frankenstein! Oh, man! A frustrating 1-0 loss for the Wimbly Womblys. The darkness begins to descend. Can I survive as coach? Can the players survive? Will you continue to support us? These are just some of the questions that I find myself asking. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. I gotta catch a Pokemon right now. All right, best wishes.